Windsor, a town that is famous the world over for its spectacular castle. Host to so many royal occasions, Windsor is a town that is proud of its heritage. But like many other towns across the UK, it is aware of its 21st century needs. Rising populations create a need for more housing.
The Waits Group is one of the UK's leading construction, property maintenance and development companies. We've been around 126 years, which makes us the fourth generation of our family ownership. We work all over the country on sustainable commercial and residential projects and are very committed to full engagement with local communities.
For more than a decade, Waits Developments have been working on a development project in Windsor to bring forward new housing and other community benefits.
There's a significant need for housing, both market and affordable housing in the Royal Borough of Windsor and Maidenhead, and the only way of addressing that need through the local plan process was to release land from the greenbelt for development. The council spent a long time looking through a long list of potential development sites and tried to identify those that were the poorest performing in greenbelt terms, and it was those sites that were identified and allocated for development, such as the land west of Windsor.
The land west of Windsor is just over 50 acres of pasture land, sitting either side of the A308, close to the Windsor Marina on the south bank of the River Thames. To the north, a 10-acre site is bounded by 2 roads and existing low-density housing. To the south, over 35 acres of occasional grazing land sits next to a Grade 2 star listed farmhouse, which is part of a private health facility.
Planning's a difficult process. Assessing a site is multifaceted. It requires assessment from highways, ecology, heritage, archaeology. I mean, pulling that all together, making sure all those disciplines work well together to help develop a development solution takes time before you can ultimately prove, get out the greenbelt and get planning consent.
I think from the outset it was clear that Waits were committed to meaningful stakeholder engagement. Both with local residents, interest groups and other stakeholders.
At the time of the scheme, I was a cabinet member responsible for planning. Waits were one of a number of developers I worked closely with. I think we built up a very good working relationship and enabled the scheme to go through because of the way we worked with the local residents.
So it is so critical whenever you're doing a development to engage with the local community. And that is a standard part of any development process. But here at Windsor, given where we are, given what this development is going to be giving to the local community, we decided to take it a step further. And we did what was called Stakeholder Masterplanning. So we really involved the local community. And in doing that, there were a lot of really important things that came out of that stakeholder master planning. One was about really integrating this development within the local community. And the other was about really making sure the features of this development were beautiful.
Engagement with the community is absolutely fundamental. The neighbourhoods can make or break any project. If we can involve them quickly, as Waits did, and we did as the council, it enables us to help them understand what Waits were trying to do and understand where they could add value to the project.
We probably had sort of 30 groups that were attending regular Zoom calls and ability to go on site as well. And ultimately that really brought the community into it, gave us local knowledge that we probably wouldn't have benefited without them, and ultimately led to a better scheme.
I think particularly because this level of engagement happened during the COVID crisis, all of us as developers had to adapt, but we really took on that challenge and we looked at different ways to engage with the local community, obviously not face-to-face as you would do in a public consultation. And that deeper level of engagement that had to happen because of the pandemic has in some ways led to a much better outcome. And that's why I wouldn't just call this community engagement. We really talk about how they have been involved in stakeholder master planning.
The master plan, which achieved outline planning permission in October 2022, includes a wide variety of community benefits, such as a special educational needs school.
The school's a real sort of a USP in a lot of ways. There's a real local need for special education needs in the Royal Borough. A lot of parents and kids are having to travel a long distance to get to school, so this sort of looks to consolidate that. The council recently got DFE funding for it, so it's absolutely going ahead and will come forward as a major benefit to the scheme and the local community.
Other elements that emerged as a result of the extensive community and local authority engagement process include 455 new houses, including 180 affordable homes, allotments, a new crossing for the A308, a community hub, an outdoor gym, a community orchard, and a mound giving views of Windsor Tower.
When you're creating a new place, you want that place to thrive for the environment and for the people who are going to live there. So at Windsor, given the location we're in, given how beautiful it is, given the biodiversity that's here, first and foremost, it was about making sure that the homes that we created were energy efficient. So we've gone above regulation, looking at putting in air source heat pumps, which is a renewable energy technology, super high insulation on the homes to make sure they're energy efficient, warm, comfortable for people, but also good for the environment. From a green perspective, from a nature perspective, we looked at the biodiversity. We made sure that we retained lots of the ancient veteran oak trees that you see behind me. We've also got a community centre to make sure that people can come together, start to get to know each other and build that community. We also have community allotments, which are great for growing food, but also about getting young people to understand about growing and food and nature. And finally, we're going to be putting in a community orchard. That's always great to bring the community together, but it's also great for all the passing birds and bees and bats for having food on their way to Windsor.
We're very proud the scheme was awarded the RTPI Award for Best Plan in the South East. This was alongside the Royal Borough and its officers and really recognised the benefits of the Stakeholder Masterplan engagement process that we undertook.
I'm excited. When you've been driving a project for a number of years, to see it coming through is great. It is for the community. It's not for us or for Waits, it's for the people.
The Windsor site is a real demonstration of Waits' best capabilities in land assembly, development solution creation and value add. The scheme really delivers a really great number of benefits for the community which emerge from our stakeholder engagement process, and ultimately we think will be a great place to live in the future.
What Windsor represents is this end-to-end approach. From the very beginnings, where we secured parcels of land many years ago now, worked carefully through the planning process with huge community engagement to ultimately deliver that planning consent, and with all other matters resolved, this perfect package for house builders to now take the site forward and start investing in delivering the homes that this community needs. I think our success here stems from our groundbreaking community engagement and the way we managed to partner long term with our council colleagues. What was brilliant was to see how the RTPI judges really recognised all that work. Going forward, Waits Developments will continue to partner with landowners, with councils and communities to deliver many more sustainable sites in this way.